So if I'm, maybe this trailer is a different color, maybe it's a much bigger trailer, maybe it's a narrow, gate that I have to get through. It doesn't mean that I have to train her for every single scenario that she will ever encounter. No, it means that we've set a good foundation, so whatever it is that we encounter, it's going to be relatively easy to convince her that what I'm asking her to do is, the best thing for her. Be patient. Give the horse the time that it needs to figure out, to really understand. Outside, hard work. Inside, comfort. There's two parts of well, let's say three parts of trailer loading. First one is just getting in. Second one is being relaxed when she's in. Third one is coming out relaxed as well. Now, if you ask teachers what's the best way of teaching students something, they would always say, spend a few minutes learning how to do the skill, whatever it is, juggling balls, doing maths, doing whatever. And then after you've done a few minutes, take a break, do something else, and then come back to it a few minutes after. So always taking that break to do something else, put your mind in a different state, and then come back to doing the thing that you were trying to learn. Sure that, I don't have to be so careful when I'm in here with her, that she's not on edge. She might be, but you need to check. If things move, something makes a noise. So we're just, can I say, enjoying, let's say, the final hours that I've got with Sapphire here. So much to think about, so much to reflect upon, and I've had her about 6 weeks, but the reality is she's probably only had about properly 3 weeks of training. So we've had a few major floods in the country. I was away for a week, and then pretty much been starting up a couple of businesses in the meantime as well, not horse related. So she hasn't had as much riding as I'd have liked her to have. Pretty much I would say she's had a few sessions of me riding on her back, just in the walk and the trot. Haven't cantered her yet with a saddle with me on her back. But I think the whole intention behind working with Sapphire here was really breaking that barrier of fear that she had, and if you can all remember the first few videos that we showed you, that fear was absolutely extreme. And I think we definitely broke through that, and we've been on a really nice journey with her. Very rewarding and satisfying one for me, and I'm sure for her as well. And today, really, I haven't had access to a trailer this entire time, unfortunately. Typically, you'd want to be playing with the trailer once a week, twice a week, until they're absolutely, loving the trailer. But the good thing about today is I really don't know how good she's going to be or how bad she's going to be with the trailer. What I do know is that when she came, the first time when she came from her stables to where we are today, she was sedated, and I think at least 10 people, it took them a couple of hours at least to get her into the trailer while she was sedated. So let's keep that in mind and see, with the work that we've done already, has it sort of shifted her personality, her way of thinking a little bit? Of course, it's nothing wrong with her being challenged with the whole thing. It's how quickly can we go from 10 men for 2 hours and sedated to 1 man and a horse and a trailer. So this really is for all the people that have watched the trailer loading video with the finished horse, or a good horse, the white horse, that had commented and said, would like to see it on an untrained horse. Yep. So this is it. This is what I would do, start to finish, with a horse for the first time that has historically had a little bit of an issue with trailers. So what is the strategy? Okay, so the first thing we need to do is understand what the ultimate goal is. Start with the end in mind. So what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is for me to point from a distance and have her trot up onto the trailer. Okay, that's in an ideal situation. There's a couple of things about this trailer that I'm not particularly a fan of, and that's the divider in the middle. Because I'll show you when we open it up. But anyway, at the end, we want the horse to go into the trailer without any fight, without any fuss, and to stand in the trailer nice and calm and relaxed. So that's what goal I have in mind. That's the end, right? So what is my strategy for doing that? So I've got to go to understanding the horse's mind and the horse's nature to be able to use that to explain to her that the trailer is a safe, comfortable place to be. So how do we do that? We know that horses, they learn from the release of pressure, okay? So that means there has to be pressure initially. A pressure is a form of question through, physical movements to ask a horse to do something. Once the horse gives you the correct response, you release that pressure. Whether that means I'm asking her to go off to my right here, or I'm asking her to go off to my left. This is the pressure, and when she takes a step, I release the pressure. Same thing is, in the same way, you want to try to use that in a smart way to get the horse to make a difference, or to know the difference between outside the trailer and inside the trailer. Okay? So right now, obviously, I was just, chilling with her, had her tied up and just relaxing. So what do you think she's thinking right now about this part of the trailer? She's probably thinking, this is a nice part of the trailer to be. I don't have to run, I don't have to move. I can just stand here in this nice breeze, even though it's a sweltering hot day, and just relax. So if I asked her to move somewhere, she'd probably want to come back to this area here because it's the nice place to be. So if I moved her over there and I did a few circles with her, and then I brought her back here, what would that do to her? That would reinforce the message that away from this spot is a little bit of hard work, and in this spot is a nice, comfortable place. Okay? So that's the same philosophy or concept that we're going to be using to explain to her that we don't want you to be outside the trailer because it's a little bit uncomfortable and there's a bit of hard work. Inside the trailer or somewhere around the trailer is a nice place to be. Okay? So I'm going to have to do this and open up the trailer and do all this with my horse in my hand, which is fine. Okay, and I'm going to show you the things that I'm not a huge fan of in these kinds of trailers, yeah? Whoa. Right, so I'm not doing anything with the horse just yet, but I want to show you this thing. So typically, I would be having this side open a little bit, okay? And then I would be asking the horse to go forwards, using my stick to encourage her, and then she'd be able to walk up inside the trailer without me having to sort of walk in front of her. That's ideally what we would want. But with this one, I may have to just tie this one over here somehow. Don't know where it is. But anyway, we can keep it like that, and I might have to actually guide her and ask her to come forwards and follow me. So you can see now, she's standing pretty much straight onto this trailer. This is perfect. This is exactly what I want. I want her to know that this area here is a really nice, comfortable place to be. Okay? Now, I need my stick. Okay. So, let's just well, that's bloody great. So she managed to take a step on without, too much work. At least make this challenging, please, you know. It's our last experience together. Yeah? Good girl. It's our last experience together, and we want to show people, help people with their own horses as well, right? So, let's assume that she did not take a step on the trailer. She did not put her feet on the trailer. What I would do, it means that she would rather move her feet somewhere else. So I'll use that to my advantage, and I'll say, you want to stay away from the trailer? You want to move away from the trailer? That's fine. How about you move all around the trailer? So I'm going to make that area over there just a little bit hard work. Like this. Now, immediately the question is, well, how much do I have to do? Do I have to do like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, a few seconds? The answer is it really comes down to feel. But if you've got no real experience and you want a little bit of guidance, then I would say at least 2 to 3 minutes initially, until you see that the horse is kind of trotting like this. It's not pulling away from you. It's not terrified of the trailer. Light on my hands, following suggestions. And now I'm going to ask her to stop right, not there. I want her to stop with her nose towards the trailer. I'm not asking her here. I mean, if you come to the side a little bit, I'm not asking her to do anything apart from rest and relax when your nose and your head is all pointed inside towards the trailer. Okay, so now she's had a couple of minutes to think about it, to realize, hey, that was a nice place to be. I'm gonna go ahead again. Just stand on this slope here and just ask her to move from side to side. Ask her to move from side to side. Now I'm gonna yield, get her nose towards the trailer. So she moves over there. I'm gonna say, no, that's not where we want you to be. Right here is where you need to be. Okay. So you can see I'm not pulling her on. I'm just letting her know that this area here is a nice place to be. She can't do anything wrong if you're just standing still and relaxing. And it's good that she's, you know, tapping her feet a little bit, making that noise. Because a lot of times, you know, horses will be a little bit afraid of the sound that that the wood makes underneath. And the other challenge that you do have is sometimes they'll easily put their front 2 feet on, but the back 2 feet won't. Or it's a little bit more of a struggle, which is fine. Now, if you're trying to load your horse, a lot of people, once they get to this stage, they start to really try to pull the horse in. You want to try to forget about trying to win the battle, okay? You want to play the long game here. And you want to say, well, that's great. Now that you've got both feet on the trailer, you're sitting here relaxed and everything. I'm actually going to do something that you don't expect, and that is to back you up off the trailer. See, I'm in no hurry to get her in, okay? Then I'm going to ask her to go again. Very simple. You can see now she's not even that motivated to go because she's pretty relaxed here. I have to motivate her a little bit just to trot off and for me to create that contrast between work and rest. I'm actually going to see what happens if I stand over to the side and get her, you know, this is how I would normally do it. Yeah, you hurt yourself there, didn't you? There you go. So I would just be standing here. Can use my stick to desensitize, stroke her, get some of these flies off. Not asking her to do anything when she's over here. This is a nice place to be. How does a horse understand? They understand from the release of pressure. This is all the release of that pressure. So I'm going to ask her to back off. Back down. Good girl. Again. So again, you can... Good girl. Really simple, huh? Now we're going to test her mind to see where is she thinking. Is her mind connected inside? Is she thinking, "Whoa, this feels kind of great. I can't wait to see what's inside there and to feel how good it feels inside." Or is she thinking, "Oh, here it's okay, but the first step you ask me to go, I would much rather go left or right, not inside." Okay? This is a small space. It's a cave almost. Why would a horse, logically thinking, why would a horse voluntarily walk into a cave? It wouldn't, right? It likes big open spaces. So let's see. I'm going to ask her to go forwards. She does. She's thinking forwards. If she was thinking back, I wouldn't resist her and keep pulling her forwards. I would let her go to the place that she thinks is a good place, and I'd give her a little bit of work, and then I'd bring her back here and let her rest. So what are you thinking, Sapphire? Are you thinking away from the trailer or inside the trailer? She's thinking inside. And how did I know that? Well, she answered me. When I asked her to go, she could have gone right, she could have gone left, she could have gone back. But she decided to go forwards, even if it was just 1 foot. It doesn't matter. It's an indication as to what she's thinking. So, I'm going to ask her to go. There you go. Now she's getting kind of curious as to what this thing is. Kind of feels good, doesn't it, Sapphire? Again, you're not going to see me pulling on this rope. It's going to be ask, release. So you see, she put that right back foot on, and then she got a little bit afraid, and she wanted to back up again. Okay, so let's see what she does. Good girl. Good girl. She can sniff around. She can explore. So she's not quite comfortable at going inside. That's fine. Good girl. Good. So we've got all 4 feet on this trailer. So from 10 guys and sedation and 2 hours of fighting, until now, she hasn't pulled on me once. She hasn't resisted, really. So it goes to show that the foundations that you work on with your horse is not for a specific action. The whole purpose of setting a good foundation on your horse is for your horse to be able to think, to get to the level where it's just a normal horse, and it can listen, and it can interpret the world around it. It can interpret and understand what you're asking from it, so that it trusts you, it respects you, and it understands what you're asking it to do. So if I'm, maybe this trailer is a different color, maybe it's a much bigger trailer, maybe it's a narrow, gate that I have to get through. It doesn't mean that I have to train her for every single scenario that she will ever encounter. No. It means that we've set a good foundation, so whatever it is that we encounter, it's going to be relatively easy to convince her that what I'm asking her to do is, the best thing for her. So now I'm not going to ask her to go forwards again. I'm going to ask her to go back nicely. No panic. So already I can see that she's a little bit lopsided when she's going back, right? Which kind of tells me she wants to be on this side a little bit more. So what do? We work her where she wants to be, and we rest her where we want her to be. So here she's pulling a little bit. She's, not as soft. And I mean that she's making contact with the end of my rope. Just noticing this. Good, she's calmed down. So now I'm gonna step up here. And then I'm gonna ask her to come back on. She's interested in this side of the trailer. Good girl, good girl. Can you come back on here? Yes, yes. That's good. Can you take more steps forwards? She says yes. I say good job. She's a bit lopsided again. So now when I back her up, there's a likelihood that she steps off on an angle and hurts herself. So I've got to be a little bit careful when I'm asking her to back off. Good. That's nice. So I asked her to back off and she came straight back on. Back up, back up, back up. I need you to be a little bit more in the middle of this trailer. So you missed it. Good, good. Would you like to come up? Would you like to come up? She's a little bit wary here. Good. Good girl. Well done. Well done. Nice opportunity for me to take some flies off of her. Just nice and chilled and relaxed. And she's right in the middle of the trailer. That's very good. Take your time. There's no need to rush this because the more thorough you are with this process on the first day, the longer this is going to last. Good girl. So I'm going to ask her to back up. That's very nice. Excellent. No. Now she's wanting to come on by herself. So you can say, I asked her to back up and then I moved away from her and she stepped back on again. Now she's taken another few centimeters, a few inches inside the trailer with her front feet. You just want to be a little bit wary, a little bit careful that, even though I am in a tight space here, she could raise her head and hit me. That's a little bit of a risk. And if you feel uncomfortable, don't worry about moving their head away or correcting them when they're, maybe nibbling on you or something like that. Don't worry about it. You can correct them, and if they fly out, you work them, you bring them back in. Excellent. So now she's gone past me, which is a really nice indicator that she's not waiting to follow me in. She can make that decision on her own to go in. So she started to make some moves to indicate that she wanted to go backwards. I didn't stop her. You know, I've got to let her make that mistake. And the mistake would be to come off the trailer, because then I would just work her and then put her back in, or ask her to come back in. Okay, she's thinking out, so I'm not going to continue to resist this. I'm going to say, that's fine. We can go out. You can back up. But if you're going to back up, you know, really back up for me. Let's work on this and get really good at backing up. Why waste time, huh? There's quite a few flies on her belly here. Okay. Now I'm going to come back up here. Excellent. So much further in this time again. So you see this head turning thing? This is starting to become something that I really don't want. So I'm not going to allow her to turn her head. I'm going to block her face when she's trying to turn out. Just like that. Okay. It's very good. Ask her to back up again. Well done. Ask her to come forwards. So now that she's halfway in, you know, a lot of people would try to quickly encourage her to get inside this trailer and as quick as possible try to get this door or this back thing closed. Again, I encourage you not to rush. Be patient. Give the horse the time that it needs to figure out, to really understand. Outside, hard work. Inside, comfort, safety, relaxation. So she's got her head down here, hind leg cocked, relaxed. I'm asking her to back up. So this time we'll just go backing up the other way. So it doesn't have to be lunging. It could be anything. Just something that's a little bit harder to do than stand still. And each horse would be a little bit different. There we go. Almost all the way in now. So here she's just doing that by herself. Put your head back in, please. There you go. Whoa, all the way in now. That's perfect. Well done. So I was expecting her to fly out there because she bashed her head on the divider and it made a really loud noise inside the trailer. But look how far she went. She didn't panic. No, don't do that. So sometimes disasters do happen. So that was almost a disaster. So I'm gonna work her. You can see she's a little bit excited. Here she's looking a little bit more relaxed again. Relaxed. And now I can ask her to go forwards. There we go. Her choice if she stays in or comes out. And I would much rather have this divider in between me and her, just to avoid any potential kick to me. But this is what we've got to work with, so that's fine. There we go. Okay, so I can see she's caught the edge of the trailer and she's got a little bit of a cut. It's a small one, but it must have caused a little bit of pain when she hit it. So, I mean, horses are tough animals, and she'll be a little bit more careful with her feet. Sometimes you just can't help it. These things might happen, you know. But what I'm trying to say is that if you needed to correct your horse inside the trailer for anything, for nibbling on you, biting you, doing whatever, you can do that. It's fine. You know, she's not going to associate the trailer with sort of a correction. Why? Because we're being very consistent about everything that we're doing. Okay, now we're going to make it a little bit tougher for her. We're going to put this up, this divider up. Get it in place. And see what she's able to do here to follow me in. There you go. Now I'm going to walk up to her, touch her in between the eyes, and say, good job. There we go. Good girl. Well done. That's good. Now I'm going to ask her to back up. And there's another reason, apart from the fact that you want to do something that she doesn't expect, which is back her up. There's another reason for backing her up, because, you know, there's two parts of well, let's say three parts of trailer loading. First one is just getting in. Second one is being relaxed when she's in. Third one is coming out relaxed as well. So that means being able to back up out of the trailer without panicking, you know? So how is she going to get used to that if you don't do a lot of it? So that's why we're doing all three parts in the same session. Now, if you ask teachers, what's the best way of teaching students something? They would always say, spend a few minutes learning how to do the skill, whatever it is, juggling balls, doing maths, doing whatever. And then after you've done a few minutes, take a break, do something else, and then come back to it a few minutes after. So always taking that break to do something else, put your mind in a different state, and then come back to doing the thing that you were trying to learn. So this is another part of trailer loading, or any kind of training that you do with your horse. You go through a little bit of an intense period where you're teaching her a specific thing. Then once she's kind of got the message, you bring her, you change state, you do something else, and then you go back to doing the thing that you were asking her to do before. So here, for example, I might work on, I don't know, just making this up as I go along. It could be anything. Let's work on side passing. Just like that. You know? Good. So that was enough to create a change of state in her mind. Now we go back to doing the thing that we were meant to be doing in the first place. So I'm just going to walk in. Good. Ask her to follow me. Good girl. So this is the first part, which is teaching her how to come in. The second part is making sure that she's relaxed inside the trailer. So taking my time here, stroking her, comforting her, letting her know she's absolutely fine. And then the third part is asking her to back out of the trailer. To back up out of the trailer. Uh-oh. We've got our tail stuck on something. Is it still stuck on? Where is it? Okay. Again, it doesn't matter what happens throughout the whole session. You adapt. So that's step 1, getting her in. This is step 2, making sure that she's nice and relaxed. And here is step 3. Good girl. So you can see she's no longer lopsided when she comes out the trailer. Very good. So I think we've achieved what we want to achieve. So I'm just walking in and she's going straight in, no issues whatsoever. Okay, so we are going to challenge her just a little bit more. Good girl. Just stay there for a bit, if you don't mind. Okay, so now I'm going to see if we can ask her just to walk in all the way here. Unguided. No assistance. Good girl. These horse flies are mean, aren't they? So now we're going to see, can she back up out of the trailer unassisted? Or is she going to turn? Or is she going to try to turn? No. 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 You can see she's trying to turn her head. I'm just shooing her away, making that thing that she wants to do a little bit uncomfortable. Might have to go in and help her here. Good girl. That's perfect. So that was challenging her just a little bit more. I'd prefer if that thing would... Well, maybe we can do it. Let's see. Okay. So you saw I just said go somewhere. Now she wants to go back. She's going to realize that's the wrong way. Go quiet here. Now here, this is the most challenging one. Ask her just to go in without me being... Nah. There we go. And back up, please. Nope. Wrong way. Wrong way. She needs a bit of help. Back her up. Go on. Keep going. Keep going. That's okay. Lopsided the other way. We're gonna just work it a little bit on this side. So why do I work her on this side? Because when she's backing up, she's thinking, maybe I'd like to be on this side a little bit. And I'll say, probably you don't. Because this side, there's a little bit of hard work. Okay. There you go. Here, just making sure that, I don't have to be so careful when I'm in here with her, that she's not on edge. She might be, but you need to check. If things move, something makes a noise, does she get spooked out? Or is she relatively comfortable in here? Good girl. And now the rest is pretty straightforward, isn't it? Well done. So the rest of this is just going to be closing the back piece and then closing the door and then tying her up, and all is good. So I'm just going to take her back to where we first started, which is just with her being tied up right next to this trailer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her a few minutes just to stand. And then we're going to do it a couple more times, or maybe even just one more time. And that would be the end of it, wouldn't it? But you can see there's no trouble, no issues. If it wasn't hot, I wouldn't be sweating. So almost no effort to convince her to go in when, initially she needed a hell of a lot of effort to get her to go in. And pretty much if you've got a horse sedated and you've got 10 guys, behind her, in front of her, trying to get her to go in, you can pretty much say it's an impossible task if it was just 2 or 3 people, or even 10 guys without sedation. So for me, this really summarizes the benefits of understanding the language of your horse, the way in which they understand, the way in which they communicate, how much benefit there is to spending a little bit of time to establishing that relationship, based on a lot of trust and a little bit of respect. And then it's just anything you want your horse to do, you have the ability, you've got the confidence in yourself and in your horse that, we both know how to achieve it. Uh-oh. There we go. So that was a pretty good demonstration of why these tie rings are so good for horses that, have experienced a time when they felt literally trapped and that they may lose their life. Using these tie rings helps the horses, have the ability not to have the ability to release some of that fear, because they can actually pull that rope through a little bit, and as soon as they stop moving their feet, then there's an absolute immediate release of pressure. So even now, even after she went through that, if I just do whatever I need to do, there, hits the back of her neck, she understands. The only reason it really spooked her is because she got the rope wrapped around the back of her head. See? The horse is fine. And I would recommend to the owner, I'm going to give her one of these, and I would recommend that she continues to soft tie her with these rings until there's absolutely no thought of danger in Sapphire's mind when she's tied. And now it's about time that I told you what is going to be happening. I think the season for me has really come to an end. I don't think I'll be working any other horses until, I don't know, possibly November, December this year, when the weather cools down and I've got a little bit more time. So this is probably going to be the last video for quite some time. But I think, I feel quite satisfied that I got quite a bit out of me, out of my system. And I think there's a lot of information out on the videos that we've posted. We've had some challenging horses. I think they've all turned out great. I've loved the journey. I've really enjoyed interacting with everybody through the comments and, stories that we've heard from you guys watching the videos. So hopefully you've enjoyed the series with Sapphire and with Vanna before that, and that it's helped you with your horse journey along the way. And I hope to see you very, very soon. So until November, take care. Thanks for watching. See you soon.